Well, the morning is starting off extremely interesting. But before I tell you that, I just want to let you know that you must watch my interview with Tesla Boomer Mama later this morning. It's an hour and a half, but do not miss it. It's going to be incredible. All right, now, what's going on in the market this morning? CPI news is better than expected. You probably already got that news, but we're going to delve into it deeply. But here's the funny part. Tesla is way up. Maybe it has more to do with this big new note out by Morgan Stanley. I don't know. The Mag 6 is 100% down. Cathie Woods are up big. And equities in general are going sideways. Bond yields, unsurprisingly, down. So a nice bond rally going on this morning. Anyway, a little tiny bit of news here from Sawyer this morning. Cybertruck is the best-selling car in the United States, over $100,000. How about that? Wow. All right, here goes that Adam Jonas note. Holy mackerel, one note after another from these major investment houses. Okay. General AI is catalyzing a multi-generational increase in energy demand that, combined with a 2 times beat in second quarter storage deployment, has driven increased interest in Tesla Energy. We raise our Tesla Energy forecasts, we lower our Tesla auto forecasts, and we cut our 2030 US BEV penetration now at 20% versus 25% prior. Really? Tesla Energy has garnered heightened investor interest over the last few weeks within the context of the general AI acceleration, spurring a multi-generational increase in energy demand. So he just repeats himself. Of our unchanged 310 Tesla price target, Tesla Energy now represents a $50 share. I think it should be more like 100 versus 36 previously. We also mark to market our US auto model, available upon request, it says. You can get that from them, reducing our 2030 US BEV penetration to 20% versus 25. By the way, I think 20% is right. I've always said 20%, but I think it'll be 20 million vehicles. It might only be 10. As a result, we reduced 2030 Tesla auto sales to 5.7 million. I think that's a complete mistake versus 6 million previously. That's only a minor small drop, driving a $15 per share reduction to our core auto valuation. Tesla Energy, almost entirely a pure play storage business with declaration in solar deployments and acceleration of storage. Or deceleration, not declaration, deceleration. Tesla Energy is now 95% energy storage. I think we all know that. All right, so here's some of the stuff to put it into context. Number one, Megapack is selling the 2XL, the new product, is selling for 1.4 million. That's equivalent to the revenue generated from selling 35 Tesla cars. It says, but consider a 20% operating margin for storage versus approximately 7% for Tesla Auto currently. That's the net, of course, after all, it's operating profit margin. I think it's probably higher than that for storage, actually. The profit from selling 1 Megapack equals nearly 100 Tesla cars. The Tesla Megafactory, he doesn't use the right term here. He says Megafactory. That's why I couldn't read it. Can now make 10,000 Megapacks a year. We estimate the profit generated from a fully utilized Megafactory is equal to the profit generated from selling 1 million Tesla EVs. It's no wonder investors are starting to consider the real possibility that Tesla Energy may be worth more than Tesla Auto. Oh, really? We estimate Tesla Energy can generate in the area of $2 of EPS per Tesla share by 2030. Oh my goodness, it'd be so much more than that. 1 Megapack at 4 megawatt hours can power 130 homes for 24 hours. 1 Megafactory can produce a storage equivalent of 40 gigawatt hours, equivalent to the electricity used by 1.3 million homes for 24 hours. 1.3 million homes is nearly equal to the number of households in the state of Connecticut. According to Morgan Stanley clean tech analyst Andrew Percoca, I think it's Prococa. Tesla's renewed focus on the energy business, combined with its innovation, scale, and growing brand loyalty, is a recipe for real disruption for incumbent players in the market. Not that many storage people to disrupt. Increased full year 25 storage deployment to around 40 gigawatt hours versus 25 gigawatt previously would bring the company within its full year guidance. Nevada, without considering China mega production, we now forecast Tesla Energy to reach 100 gigawatt hours in storage deployments by 2028 versus 2031 previously. So in other words, they're expecting us to have the 2 factories fully open and operational and add at least 1 more factory. We note that our 2030 storage deployment forecast implies that Tesla has a 30% share of the global ESS market. That's not, and that wouldn't be that hard, but I think the market's going to be even higher. We now value Tesla Energy at $50 a share. We said that earlier. All right. So that could be one of the reasons that Tesla is up, just for fun, in the middle of the show. I know I never do this. Tesla up. It's fallen off of its 270 back to 267.72. That, but not unsurprisingly. All right, later this morning, as I mentioned, I have an interview with Tesla boomer mama, Alexandra Merz, and it is a mind blower. We will talk about her thinking about the Tesla, about the markets right now, but most importantly, we're going to dig into her history, and she reveals something that she hasn't really told anybody publicly for 20 years. So you want to watch it for sure. All right. So right now, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't done it. Why haven't you? Hit notify because you want to be reminded about that video this morning with Alexandra. And then, of course, we have Bradford Ferguson. It's Thursday. We have Bradford Ferguson later tonight. All of those would be a reason to hit notify. And then, for sure, thank you so much, long-time patron member, Beatles for Sale. He increased his membership up to $10. Thank you, Beatles for Sale. He's also one that gives me lots of back and forth. So I always like it when my Patreon members are also having conversations, letting me know about things that I might have missed, or just making suggestions and bringing up ideas. All right. Now then, the big news for the day, the consumer price index declined, is down 0.1% on a seasonally adjusted basis for the month over month after being unchanged in May. So that's 2 months in a row of 0 to negative, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported. The last 12 months, all items index increased by 3.0 before seasonal adjustments. So you still have this 3% year over year problem, which is still going to interfere with the Fed making any negative or reducing interest rates. I'm not sure the 2 months in a row is that's really good news. All right. The index for gasoline fell 3.8% in June after declining 3.6% in May. That's really good. That offset the increase in shelter. I don't know why we care about offsetting. What we just want to know is what happened. The energy index fell 2% overall. The food increased 0.2% in June. That's not good. The food away from home still up another 0.4%. How much further can the food away from home go? The food at home increased only 0.1%. Index for all items less food and energy, the core number rose 0.1%. That's a good number after rising 0.2% the preceding month. Indexes which increased in June include shelter, motor vehicle insurance, etc., household furnishings, operations, medical care. Anyway, we'll talk about that more in a second. The all items index rose 3%, same as the headline, for the 12 months ending in June, a smaller increase than the 3.3 last month. The energy index increased 1% for the 12 months ending June. The food index increased 2.2% over the last year. So we're getting closer. Everything is going in the right direction. 𝐃𝐨𝐰𝐧, however, points out, he says, look, this is right, 3.0, good, all excited, that's better, getting there. However, you got to remember, this has been a continuing, is exacerbating the problem even more when it's still going up at that rate. But he says, look, these are the ones that are still high. Look at this. Car insurance inflation is 19.5%. Transportation inflation, 9.4%. Hospital services, 6.9%. Car repairs, 6.0%. Electricity, 5.9%. Homeowner, 5.4%. Rent, 5.1%. Yikes. Food away from home inflation 4.1. Inflation has now been at over 3% for 39 consecutive months, over 3%. While June CPI was a move in the right direction, elevated inflation in key categories makes inflation feel much higher. Good news on the gasoline, but the rest of it, We've also now had over 3 years of compounding inflation. Affordability is getting worse. However, this spread is welcome news that for 2 months in a row, we're seeing a significant drop. All right, then we've got the initial jobless claims. It came in better than expected at 222,000 rather, versus the 236 estimate. The 4-week initial jobless claims now at 233.5, down from 238.75 last week. Continuing claims at 1.852, down from 1.860. Prior week continuing claims 1.858, down from 1.8. Wait a minute, that is slightly up actually. 4-week continuing claims is up slightly, barely. Call it even. 4-week moving average continuing claims 1.84, up from 1.83. The data is still consistent with a solid jobs market, they say. Over his 2-day testimony on Capitol Hill, Chair Powell commented on a couple of occasions that the labor market has cooled considerably, but that it remains strong. Nevertheless, he thought employment wasn't a large contributor right now to inflationary pressures, wasn't a large contributor. So that's a negative that doesn't need to be a negative. Should he said it's a small contributor? Anyway, even with the good CPI print, this jobs information does not point to the Fed easing in September, in my opinion. There would need to be another month of easing CPI, 3 months in a row, if the job numbers stay this good, or we would need to see another jobs data, some other jobs data. We need to see something more from the, at the end of the month. Well, I guess it'd be the first Friday of August. We would need to see something the first Friday of August or the first Friday of September. I don't know what date the September meeting is for the Fed, but let's say at least for the first week of August, Friday, we're going to need to see a significant impairment, like going to 4.3, maybe even 4.2 would be enough for the Fed to act in September. Otherwise, I'm sticking with my November expectation. The market, on the other hand, no, they're expecting September now. That has jumped up huge. I think it's now at 87% of economists believe there will be a cut in September. I'm just, sometimes when 87% say one thing, that's reason enough to think the opposite. And that has proven true in the case of expectations with regard to the Fed. For the 2 years this show, the 19 months this show has been on air, I have been going opposite these expectations. I fully got it right last year with regard to the recession. I got it right with regard to the inflation. I got it right this year so far with regard to Fed cuts. I've gotten it right this year so far with regard to the slowing economy. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But where are the markets now? Let's see if Tesla is continuing to, only up 98 cents at this point at 264.24, having a hard time staying above 265. It is following the rest of the market down, so selling on the news in a big way. NASDAQ down 173, Dow up 66, S&P down 20, Apple down $3.84, Google down 3, Amazon down 3, Meta down 14, Microsoft down 9, now Nvidia down 4, which would have been 40. Okay, big slam right now to all of the equities that you might think would be up with this news, but apparently selling on the news. Tesla, however, rebounding now, heading back towards it's over 265 again. I would love to see it close above 265, but we did touch on 270 earlier. In fact, let me check that out. The high for the day, 271 actually. 271 is the high for the day so far. Let's look at the percentages here. We've got the Dow up 0.14 and NASDAQ down 0.93, S&P down 0.35. We've got the Cathie Woods, however, all up. Listen to this. ARK up 2, PayPal, this is 2%. PayPal up 2.55, ARKG up 5.25, 0.33. CRISPR up 5.76. These are percentages. 2U up 3.26. TDOC up 4.58. 𝐂𝐸𝐝 up 2.5 and Square up 2.66. Those are what make up what I call the Cathie Woods. So the Cathie Woods are going crazy this morning with the potential of interest rates coming down. Okay, and just to keep track here, Tesla is now screaming back up again, up 259. We'll look at this again in a second, but let's go ahead and look at the other numbers. Let's take a look here. We have got the US 10-year is down 10.3. It was down just a little bit more than that, but now it's down 10.3. The 2-year is down 13.2. Let me look here, 4.5, 4.176. That is 4.5, 4. That is down. There is now less than a 30% difference in that inversion. This is a breakthrough. This is big. In my opinion, this could be maybe why the market is down right now. This may be why you're seeing the NASDAQ and the Mag 6, other than Tesla, down right now, is because that inversion has now collapsed below 3.0. We're looking at 2.5. Down now at 25 basis points. It's broken below 33. I don't know if it means anything, but if it continues to collapse like this, we could be looking at this thing that is supposed to be a major influence or major indicator of a recession. We have got the 2-month is down 0.4%. Now, see, that one is going the other way. It's way over. It's 120. Wow, wait a minute. Let's see if I can figure it out here. So way up. Huge difference now in the 10-year over the 2 months. It's so much I can't do it in my head. 100 and I hate to say it because it's too crazy. That's 25. Okay, I'm gonna figure this out. We'll talk about it later today because this is pretty big news. But I can't figure out I'm very good at doing that kind of stuff in my head, but it's so weird it just wouldn't come. All right, let's look at oil. Oil is down 0.11. We've got that's the Texas Intermediate in other words, 11 cents. Unchanged basically on Brent. Natural gas down 1.85% to 2.286. Interesting to see that natural gas dropping like that, given all the other stuff that's going on. Gold is up 37, 2,417. 2,417. That might be an all-time high. I'll check on that later too. We've got silver up 2.57 at 31.81. That probably is an all-time high. Copper, on the other hand, down 1.18. What a morning. Holy mackerel. Bitcoin up 313 at 5,772. And you've got the dollar dropping as consumer prices fall. That's not necessarily true. I'm seeing the euro up right now, seeing the Japanese yen down. Yeah, okay. Wow. Holy mackerel. That is a wild bunch of stuff going on in the markets. Let's go ahead back and look. Tesla is now up 3, back up to 266, continuing to fight his way back up towards 270. Apple's now down 3. This is just crazy. Meta down 11, Microsoft down 10. Wow. Okay. Holy mackerel. What have I got left to say here? Oh, yeah, look, yesterday, great video. If you got time, check it out. Great video with Scott Walter yesterday. I'll put the card up right here. Otherwise, join Patreon. Thank you so much for those who've joined up this month. I'm seeing a big increase. And by the way, I am putting new content and different content. Well, have I put up any? No. Everything that I put up there eventually makes it on to something else, but I'm putting it up early, starting to do that again. I'll try to keep doing it. Sometimes I just get so busy. All right, that's all I got. Until later today, it's been great talking to you.